again, between here and there, it seems like we're going to sink a lot of money, build a lot of buildings, hire a lot of people. And that all smells to me inflation. Until we get to that level of productivity where we can enjoy, as I mentioned earlier, the fruits of our labor, we are expecting, if you agree, a higher inflation and much higher, much longer than what the current rhetoric of the market is about higher interest rate for longer. Thoughts on that?
When you look at what's occurred with fiscal stimulus, it's inherently inflationary because the front end of this funding has created inflation, services inflation, modest wage inflation. But quite candidly, wages have not been commensurate with inflation on the front end of this project, which really is a project, an investment in the country. But you've seen massive inflation. And whether you're looking at CPI or CPE and any of the sub-index constituents, inflation's running hot, hotter than it's been in over a decade. And it's very sticky. It's not going away. And if you were to look at the current trajectory of inflation, it's mimicking the 70s style of stagflation, where you saw inflation and then it retrenched and then it spiked again, of which now we're seeing an acceleration of inflation and prices across services, healthcare, insurance. And it's across a series of metrics, as well as food inflation is not inconsequential. Square that with consumer spending has been robust, but it's been robust because they're paying more for the same food, same services, same. I'll give you a little data point here. Car insurance is up 22% in the last 12 months. If you haven't checked your bill, you're going to be getting a new one. And guess what? The bad news is it's going up. And when you look at energy costs, those have been going up. Anywhere you see inflation has been multifaceted and massively impacting the consumer. And you've seen it exhibit itself, rear its ugly head with credit card spending. You're seeing delays of payments, and you're starting to see the consumer is struggling with inflation. Having that kind of stagflationary trajectory, investors really need to prepare for the oncoming long, slow, grinding process of inflation that may last the next 3 to 5+ years until we can create this flywheel effect in the economy, lower the price of energy, manufacturing and production costs, try and adjust some of the dials in the economy so we can get things back on track. And ostensibly, we've had higher rates than we've had in the last decade. And the Fed is right now in a position where they're in the corner, backed against a wall. And Powell is struggling with trying to lower rates because of an enormous debt load. And the debt service for this country is just a multi-trillion-dollar, multi-headed hydra. And at current rates, it continues to compound against the country. But if he were to lower rates, that would accelerate inflation. So he's caught between a rock and a hard place.